last video, we talked a little bit about the FL plugins and how to add them to our channel rack. We also talked about a simple way to add notes to our pattern with the graph editor. Today I want to talk about the piano roll a little bit. You can open it by clicking this icon here. It will open for whatever instrument you have selected, or you can right-click the instrument and select piano roll. Additionally, you can switch your pattern from step sequencer to piano roll by clicking here in this upper right-hand corner of the channel rack and then clicking on the instrument pattern. The piano roll sends note and automation data to plug-in instruments associated with the piano roll's channel, so whatever instrument you have selected. This process is known as sequencing. There are a number of useful tools to help with the complex score editing and other manipulations. Time is on the horizontal axis going across, and note pitch is displayed on the vertical axis or up and down. This is the exact same principle as paper piano rolls used to automate player pianos in former times. The resolution of the grid is user-selectable, zoomable, and it allows the composition of songs with unlimited complexity. Note data can be entered manually with the editing tools or recorded from live MIDI controllers, then edited to fix mistakes or make changes. And I plan to show you how to do all the live MIDI stuff in a later video, but for right now we're going to be doing it all manually. You've got a whole bunch of tools here, and I'm going to show you some of the basics real quick, and later on we can get into what all the other options do. Draw. You can left-click to add a note and drag and reposition the note before releasing it. You can right-click to delete the notes, and right-click and drag to delete multiple notes. You can left-click on the right side and drag horizontally to change the note length. This can also be performed on a selection of notes. Paint. Paints multiple notes as you drag in lines. You can paint the notes above or below existing notes to create chords. Left-click to add a single note, click and drag to add multiple notes, right-click notes to delete them. Paint drum sequencer mode. This is similar to the paint. It adds multiple notes as you drag in lines. Behaviors are fine-tuned to work for drum sequencing in the piano roll, where you may want to mute and unmute steps. Left-click to add a note, click and drag to paint a line of notes, left-click on the notes to mute and unmute them, right-click to delete the notes, right-click and drag to delete multiple notes. Delete. Click or click and drag to delete notes. Mute. Left-click on notes to mute them. Left-click and drag to mute multiple notes. Right-click to delete notes. Slice. Left-click and drag vertical lines to slice through notes. Glue notes by making a selection of touching notes and using the Ctrl-G shortcut. You can hold Shift to slice without dragging, and it also straightens out the slice. Select. Click notes or click and drag to make group selections. You can hold Shift to add or remove notes from the selection.
You can also select and drag on the timeline to highlight a certain amount of time that will keep looping. You can right-click to erase a portion and left-click to remove the highlighted selection. You can also select all the notes by pressing Ctrl-A or Command-A on a Mac, and Ctrl-C to copy and Ctrl-V to paste. You can also drag a selection of notes to change all of their lengths at once.
This one's a zoom tool, which is pretty self-explanatory. This one is play selected. You click the notes you want to play, and you click and drag to scrub play notes. Play pause. Left-click to start or pause the playback. Right-click while it's playing to stop and return to the last set start position. Right-click while stopped to return the playhead to the start of the piano roll. Up here you have your target channel, which is a list of all the instruments you have in your pattern. The ones with checks next to them indicate there are notes in the pattern. As you can see, the current selected instruments notes are green, and there are ghost notes from other instruments that are transparent. This comes really handy for not having to switch back and forth to see what notes you played on another instrument. The Note Properties editor gives you access to a number of per-note properties and event data like velocity, pan, release, etc. The note properties are displayed with vertical lines with a small circle at the top. The right-facing tail allows you to see the independent values of notes with the same start time. Note properties move with the notes they belong to. Okay, now that we understand the basics of the piano roll, I want to talk to you about the typing keyboard to piano keyboard. When selected, your typing keyboard will function as a musical MIDI device, with the notes being laid out like so. It's perfect if you don't have a MIDI device or you're on the go. You can select any instrument and just start playing. If you're in the piano roll, it will highlight the notes and the bar of the notes.
If you want to change your keyboard style, you can go up to the piano roll options, click View, go down to Keyboard Style, and it has a list of options to choose from. I'm going to be going over all these other options in another video.
And we are out of time. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.